I want to ask you something, and I want you to sit with it honestly for a moment, just like I do. When your child has an audition, whose anxiety is higher, yours or theirs? If you hesitated before answering, this video is for you. I'm Dr. Maja Jankowska. I'm a clinical and counselling psychologist, and I specialize in working with performing artists. And I'm also a parent of a conservatoire student. So everything I'm about to say, I'm saying from both sides of experience, as a psychologist and as a parent. This is the first video in a new series I'm making specifically for parents of performing artists, because in all the conversations I have in this space with singers, musicians, actors, one thing keeps coming up again and again: the parent in the car on the way home. And I think it's time we talked about that directly. So let me describe something and see if it sounds familiar to you. Your child comes home from an audition, or after a difficult rehearsal, or they get a rejection, they didn't get the role they wanted. And before they've even spoken, something happens in your body. You have this visceral reaction, a tightening, a kind of bracing, because you already know this is going to be hard. Not just for them, but for you. And you want to say the right thing. You want to be supportive and calm and steady. But underneath that, there is something else going on. Something that feels a lot like your own grief, your own disappointment, your own fear. And you are not sure when that happened and why that happened. When their auditions became yours too. This is what psychologists call enmeshment. And I want to be very clear. It is not a character flaw. It is not bad parenting, for sure. It happens because you love your child and because you have invested enormously, financially, emotionally, practically, over many years. The Saturday lessons, the specialist school applications, the early mornings, the long drives, the fees, the hope, all of that. When you invest that much, it's almost impossible not to build a stake in the outcome. This is you just being human. That makes complete sense, at least to me. Let me know if it does to you as well. But here is what I want you to think about. Your child can actually feel that stake. They feel it even when nothing is said. Performers I work with describe it very specifically. This awareness of a parent in the audience who needs them to do well, or the expectations, even if the parents are trying to hide it. Not just wants, but kind of needs. I need you to do really well. And that weight travels onto the stage with them. One of my clients described it like this. She said, I can perform freely in front of strangers, but when my mother is watching, something locks, because I know that my performance will determine the mood in the car home. That's not a criticism of her mother. Her mother loves her completely and dearly, but love and pressure sometimes can feel identical when the stakes are really high. So what do you actually do with this? The first thing, and that sounds simple, but it actually isn't, is to start separating your feelings from theirs after difficult moments. When your child comes home from a rejection or a hard audition, your job in that moment is not to process it together. It's to be a stable place for them to land. And trusting that they can process it. They have teachers, they have other performing artists around them who know much better how to do that. So this means really, practically, that you need to process your feelings separately. With a partner, with a friend, in a journal, somewhere that isn't your child. Because they should not be managing your emotions on top of everything else that they are trying to manage. So your emotions about their career shouldn't really kind of add to their load. The second thing is to notice what you are actually reacting to. Because often when a parent's anxiety around their child's performing career is very, very high, it isn't only about their child. There is something else underneath it. Your own relationship with failure, your own fear of precarity, your own unlived dreams sometimes. There might be different reasons, but as I say, and I say it without any judgment, because I've looked at this in myself too, we need to explore it and we need to think, what is it in us, what is triggering in us. And that's actually what I want to go into in the next video in this series, because understanding where your anxiety really comes from as a performing arts parent is, I think, the most useful thing you can do for yourself and for your child. Not just for kind of your own well-being, but I'm thinking about it as, for freedom, for your child's freedom to perform. So if this has resonated with you, if you recognized yourself in any of this, I certainly do, I'd really encourage you to come back for the next video, because we are going to go a layer deeper, and I think it will be worth it. If you have a question or something you'd like me to address in this series, leave it in the comments. I read everything. And if you know another performing arts parent who needs to hear it, please share it with them, because this conversation doesn't happen enough in my view. Okay? So I really hope this lands and it helps some people. So spread the word, and I'll see you in the next one.